had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire wrong. So then I'm doing IT, and when I go to plug the servers in, they become sentient, and they won't let us access our network unless we forward their chain emails and memes to more and more and more people, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant finds and invites best fit candidates to apply, so you can discover talent you may have missed. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here. Now, do you believe in angels or intuition or something that is a protector? Could be your higher self, could be something like that. Well, you might get some value from this session because I was working with a client that had a very, very high fear of mold and contamination. They could sense it. They could sense the dampness, the smell, and they would just feel when something wasn't right. And what I believe is that when your unconscious communicates, we can call that your intuition. It's the communication channel of your unconscious. So if you have that gut feel that something isn't right, you don't know that logically. It's your subconscious communicating with you in a way that you can decode and interpret. But when I was working with this client to highlight that the fear was their intuition, they disagreed. And for me, that tells me that they have a distinction, an important distinction, because in their mind, their intuition was different from the communication channel of fear. The way they perceived it is that their intuition was always right, always wise, always caring, and they imagined it not as a single voice, but as multiple voices, almost like there were lots of small angels around them, and they'd lost connection with that intuitive part, and this voice of representing fear had taken too much of an influential role. And when they were in that fear response, they were making bad decisions, lots of false alarms, lots of anticipatory fear and anxiety, and just not very good for them. But when they, in the past, used to listen to their intuition, that wise voice, quite often it wasn't panicked, it wasn't rushed, it wasn't fear-mongering and catastrophization and worst-case scenarios. So what this session is all about is reawakening the empowered intuition and giving the anxiety or the fear part a different role. So this utilizes direct suggestion, parts integration therapy, future pacing, and also some element of nested loops of levels of disassociation, because where they would meditate would be in their bathroom and they would imagine being on a beach. So we've got 2 or 3 levels of disassociation. So for those of you familiar with my way of doing nested loops, you'll get a sense of that in this session. Now, what's important here is that although this was designed to help this client with an over-vigilant fear response to the possibility of mold, it doesn't have to only be beneficial in that context. So if you believe that you want to have a more empowered intuition that can keep you safe, or you want to feel protected, or you want to reduce anxiety, you will still get value from this session. Obviously, it was created for an individual. Some of these suggestions might have been perfect for them and not quite right for you. So just ignore any suggestions that don't quite fit your situation. And if you like the idea of working with me directly, there will be a link in the description where you can schedule a completely free consultation call over Zoom. We'll have a chat. I'll explain how I work, how many sessions I think you need, and who knows, we may end up working together. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that wonderful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, feel a wonderful feeling of relaxation, as if any tension, stress, and worries are starting to leave your body in your outward breath. And as you breathe in deeper than you normally would. And as you exhale, feel that wonderful feeling of release, giving permission to just let go. Because for 4 years now, your nervous system has been high alert, on guard, hypervigilant, working overtime to keep you safe. But what if all of that effort has actually taken away some of your resources? I want you to imagine a security guard protecting maybe a shop at night. But if they protect for just a few hours a day, then they can be alert for those few hours and actually protect. But imagine if that security guard didn't have a 4 or a 6 hour shift. They had a 7-day shift. Before long, they would feel so tired and weak. They couldn't do a good job to protect anyway. I want you to get a sense that there is a part trying to protect you, but it's been working too hard and it needs to rest. And sometimes all you need is to share that responsibility so that it doesn't fall on the shoulders of just one of those parts. Breathe in relaxation, exhale tension. And I want you to imagine lying on the floor of a bathroom, getting into that state where your imagination is empowered. Imagine breathing in and breathing out slower and deeper. The deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you feel. And the more relaxed you feel, the deeper you breathe. And as your body relaxes, your imagination awakens. So imagine being there and almost drift off to another place. I want you to imagine a beach 4 years ago, on a sunny day with blue skies. And imagine being on that beach. I want you to imagine the air is warm and dry. It's not a humid day. Feel the sunshine charging your body up with vitamin D. Imagine hearing the gentle breaking of the waves. And perhaps you could imagine paddling in the shallow sea. Or perhaps finding a blanket on the sand or a lounger to lie on. And just allow your imagination to help you to relax even deeper now. And I want you to imagine the dryness of the air is good for your lungs, good for your sinuses. I want you to imagine that every time you breathe out, anything toxic, that could be a belief, an emotion, Could even be a particle. Just feel it leaving your body in your outward breath. And I want you to imagine a healing white light coming directly from the sun. And as you breathe in that healing white light, just imagine it going up your nostrils, down your windpipe, into your lungs. And imagine your heart distilling and distributing that healing white light to every cell in your body, cleansing your body from within. And as you exhale, just imagine something dark, shadowy, or toxic leaving your body as you breathe out. Breathing in something clean and pure, and exhaling something that wanted to be released for a long time. Consider it almost like a transfusion of emotions. Breathing in health, vitality, and resourcefulness, and exhaling any toxic worries, anxiety, or stress. The deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you feel, drifting deeper and deeper to that place within. And I want you to awaken your angels. You remember them. They've not gone away. They've just been suppressed. They needed more energy. But I want you to feel there on that beach, your batteries are recharging. You are awakening your angels. And maybe you could imagine them as tiny light beams. Or maybe you just sense their presence. Maybe one at first and then more. And I want you to hear kind, compassionate, encouraging words. You are healing. You are safe. We'll protect you. And it's almost like these words have power, because your intuition is never wrong. So when they tell you, we'll help you, you can believe them. And when they tell you that if you need protection, they will do their best to protect, you can believe them. Because you know their intentions are pure. They don't use fear to manipulate you. They use experience, wisdom, and kindness to help you, to serve you, to help you make nuanced decisions that get the balance just right, to keep you safe without living in fear. And I wonder, what is the key energy for these angels, this intuition? Maybe it's hope. Maybe it's the sunshine. Maybe it's breathing in a particular rhythm or pace that awakens them. And I want you to feel more and more of them are awakening. Like a sixth sense. Like a higher power. Like something at a spiritual level awakening because you need them. And for a while, when they've been absent, or perhaps not quite as influential as they were, that other part of you that is using fear has got too strong. But your intuition can keep your fear in check. can feel difficult if you've got that dominating, urgent, intense voice, using fear and panic to manipulate you. But when you have your intuition backing you, protecting you, I want you to consider it like a force field, like a really good PA, that fear has to go through them before it can get to you. And they don't take any nonsense. They're too wise. They're too compassionate. If the threat is real, they will evaluate it, and they will influence you gently to help keep you safe. But your intuition knows that too much fear can suppress your immune system, can affect your sleep. So if the fear is disproportionate, if it's catastrophizing, exaggerated, they won't immediately accept it's true. They will challenge it. They'll figure out what's real. And if anything that is needed for you to do, it will come from your intuition, not from your fear. I want you to thank your intuition for everything it's done in the past and will do for you in your future. And I want you to ask your intuition what you can do for them. What gives them energy? What gives them power? And you might get a feeling or a thought or an idea or even hear words as to what they need. Maybe it's when you're living at a particular frequency. Maybe it's when you have a period of calm, reflection and introspection that charges them up. But if you have an idea as to what you can do to keep those intuitive angels strong, let me know by nodding your head. Consider this an open invitation. Maybe the idea will come later, like an epiphany, a sudden eureka moment, an insight. And once you know what it is, you can help them and they can help you. But if you feel that they are awakened again, empowered, supported, and trusted, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And maybe that's enough. Why would anyone do a job if they were unappreciated or ignored, or overruled by someone else? I want you to promote them to your number 2. You are in charge of your life, but they are now your primary source of resources. And any fear must go through them first before it gets to you. And then I want you to invite the part that represents fear and anxiety. You could imagine it as an entity, as a voice, perhaps as just a feeling. But I want you to say something to fear that it's not expecting. I want you to thank it. Not a fake gratitude, not disingenuous thanks. Genuine gratitude for its intention. Not for all the worries, all the panic, all the stress, but for the intention. Because like your intuition, it's been trying to keep you safe, but left unchecked, it sees danger in every shadow, not just what's real. And if that part that represents fear is perhaps surprised or grateful for your gratitude, let me know by nodding your head. But I want you to be real and honest with that part. Its intention was good, but sometimes that positive intention has given you a lot of pain. And I want you to recall memories of anxiety, memories of dread, all of the pain and suffering that this anxiety has caused. Almost send it to this part responsible for that wonderful intention. Because most of these parts don't realize that sometimes horrible things can come from good intentions. And as you share these memories with that part, I want you to see perhaps surprise, shock, or sadness. Because this part, called fear, was never your enemy. If anything, it was trying to keep you too safe. But in keeping you too safe, what if it gave you the very anxiety that's been causing a decline in your health? And just mirror all of those emotions and memories straight to that part, but also to your intuitive angels, so that everyone is aware that a little bit of vigilance and protection is ideal. It keeps things safe and hygienic and makes you aware of potential dangers. But too much is like a smoke alarm that's too sensitive. The alarm is ringing and there's no threat. And I want you to communicate directly with the part responsible for that fear and anxiety as to how many false alarms you think you've experienced. Real anxiety, real suffering, based on false alarms. And then once you've sent that information to that part, gauge its reaction. Maybe it's apologetic. Maybe it's ashamed. But then thank it again for its intention. You're not sharing this to shame it or blame it or punish it. You're sharing this because you want it to do a better job, to protect you in a more elegant way. I want you to ask that part if it's willing to do two things. Firstly, get better at warning you when the danger is real, not just a tiny possibility. Less false alarms and more genuine threats. And if that part is willing to do that, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And thank that part. Tell that part you're proud of it for making this adjustment, because many people or parts would become defiant, assume they're never wrong. It takes humility and intelligence to refine, to adapt. Thank that part. But then make your second request. That if there is anything that could be a danger to you, a real threat, ask it to use your intuition as the first port of communication. And if your intuition deems it a worthy enough threat for you, then you have confidence that they will communicate it to you in an empowering, reassuring way, not as an imminent threat. You still value the information. You would just like it to go through a different communication channel. And if the part that we once called fear and now call protection is willing to agree, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to reassure that part. It's becoming more important, not less important. You're not fobbing it off to a different part of you because you don't value it. You just want context. You want all of the experience and wisdom that your intuition brings. Your intuition has higher accuracy, whereas all of these false alarms prove that that part has been wrong too many times. So ask if it's willing to try to communicate direct. That's it. I want you to praise it. Praise it for being flexible, and empower it to protect you more than ever before. Because if you don't get those false alarms, you'll sleep better. When your hypervigilance is dialed down, your immune system becomes stronger. When your mind isn't racing with worries of false threats, you can do more things that fill you up and release those wonderful neurotransmitters like oxytocin and serotonin and dopamine and all those wonderful things to make you feel good. And the better you feel, the more your body can heal. And the more your body can heal, the more effective your immune system is. So even if there is a threat, you can handle it better than if you're depleted by chasing all of these false alarms. I want you to ask your intuition if it's also happy with this arrangement to protect you through wisdom and work with the part we used to call fear and now call protection, all working together to keep you safe. And if all parts agree, just imagine this imaginary group hug in your mind. No longer enemies, conflicted, partners working in harmony to do what's important, to keep you safe when the threat is real, and to keep you healing when there is no threat at all. Expect new levels of context, more positivity and optimism, a sense that even if things aren't perfect, your internal resources will still do what they can to keep you safe. And in turn, giving many more self-fulfilling prophecies that work for you rather than against you. And then imagine thanking all of those parts again, seeing your intuitive angels glow even brighter. Feel their warm presence, that even protection seems to have a different energy now. And then imagine floating back from that beach, back to the floor of your bathroom, in that wonderful meditation, but taking all of these new ideas and changes back with you, feeling the presence of your intuition, feeling like there's a new hierarchy, harmony, all designed to keep you safe. And just imagine that the next few days and weeks will give you clues of progress, even if you don't know specifically what they will be. It's time to return to your physical body, fully in the present now, as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.